removal of Explore the Web button is out from Scholastic's Bookflix, and they just don't want to send students out anywhere else. Keep you within the Scholastic resource. And it does keep a safe and focused learning environment. ScienceFlix, they have a new unit added. And while we have good news for ScienceFlix, we also have some bad news. But let me first talk about the good news. The new unit here, they have ScienceFlix itself includes more than 80 complete units of study for grades 6 to 8. So Cindy, you can pass these on to your middle school teachers. So you have science, technology, engineering, and math. And Margaret, you teach STEM yourself. And students learn through, there are hands-on activities, experiments. I know there's simulations in there. So they have projects and articles. So they encourage kids to explore STEM careers. And the newest unit added is the Animal Extremes unit. So that's the first icon you see there. Each unit of study includes a video, an article, discussion questions, a science lab, and additional instructional materials to dig deeper. So it's pretty cool, this ScienceFlix. And they also added and updated 5 new hands-on experiments. There's new videos for each science strand and science news. So that's some of the good news there. ScienceFlix did something similar. So on the farthest left, you see the related websites link. It is gone. And so now we don't have that related websites link anymore. Again, keeping kids here within the resources and not sending them off. But here's the bad news. This is our last school year to use ScienceFlix. So if you do share this with teachers, let them know this is for this year only. June 2026, that will be the end of our access to ScienceFlix. It's part of our work in Future Forward Ohio. Like that's what INFOhio is working on. And they started ScienceFlix in the 22-23 school year, but they're going to review INFOhio curated collections, remove links to individual ScienceFlix content items, and then they'll replace ScienceFlix content items with content from other providers. So we should be able to have replacements. AI Research Assistant is in ProQuest. So if you're a user of ProQuest or have students using this, it's an ebook platform, and they've added an AI research assistant, but it's in just beta form, and it provides a detailed description of the entire book. It also gives key takeaways from each chapter. Note at the bottom of the AI-generated key takeaways, it states AI-generated. Check for accuracy. Quality may vary. So it could be an engaging activity for students, and you have the students read the chapter, check the AI-generated takeaways for accuracy. That'd be an activity you could do with them. EBSCO, natural language search. So what am I talking about now? It's in the new search mode, so it's helpful for users who are not experts in the field in which they are doing research on, and they can get more relevant results, kind of broaden the search. It'll provide more complex search results that provide related terms that the user might not know. Well, obviously, because they aren't experts. So you're going to go under the advanced search options up there where the arrow's pointing. Then you have natural language search right down here at this radio button. And a new search mode allows people to search using questions. So an example like this one, how does global warming affect invasive species? So that would be an example. Turn it on. You could have it turned on by default. If you do the same search question without the natural language search, you can compare, see how your search results are different. Oops, sorry about that. I'm jumping way too ahead. There we are. So Pebble Go Next, pretty popular, are capstone resources. And they have a new animal category. See this little slick green frog sitting up there. And right now there are 125 animals, and by October, there'll be 50 more added. So give that a shout out if you do a newsletter or just something you want to point out to teachers. Hey, there's a whole new category. Other things, new ebooks from Capstone. They have a set of more than 50 decodables that have been purchased from Capstone, and it's called Stairway Decodables. And they're supplemental phonics resources that are perfect for supporting your small group instruction, independent reading, reading practice at home. Each title provides practice in decoding words with different vowel or consonant sounds. So definitely share this. If you have a reading coach in your building at the elementary level, make sure they're aware of this. Your intervention specialists would like to know. So share the skill matrix presentation you're going to find it in the speaker notes. So they have a presentation, they have a letter for the parents that's nice for you to share. And that's from Capstone. New videos were purchased from InfoBase, and those videos include student-facing and professional learning videos. And guess what the topic is? Artificial intelligence. So this is a series of videos for students called Practical Use of AI for Students. And if you do a keyword search for the series name in Educator Tools, the 17 titles in the series will populate. If you're not familiar with Educator Tools, we'll go there so you know a little bit more. The 11 professional learning videos provide background knowledge on the use of AI. So that might help staff who are a little uncertain, don't know what it is, they can learn about that. And actually, I'm looking at the author here, John Sowash. He's an educator from Michigan who often presents here in Ohio. We have updates from iWonder. Each summer, INFOhio updates content on iWonder. So we should expect new things from them every year. For this school year, we're going to use iWonder to help students with research and reading with the new items. Using iWonder, the students can find collections of ebooks during research. In the section, Do You Want to Find Primary Sources? That's a long title, right? So we see that here at the upper left. We're already down into that collection. They've added ebooks that have digitized primary source documents and ebooks to teach students how to use primary sources for research. Now, in the category, Do You Want to Help with a Project? There you're going to be able to find research for middle school choice board, and that's pictured here on the right. We'll talk more about choice boards today. Now, that's a collection of ebooks to help students with all parts of research process. So these links in iWonder take students directly to the ebook. So it's not like they have to go to Capstone and do an additional search. It'll jump and take them straight to the ebook, if that's where, if it's located in Capstone. So iWonder, your students can browse collections of high interest ebooks using the choice boards. So we were just talking about that for research. In the category, Do You Like Reading Stories Beyond Your Imagination? Students will find ebooks about creatures, monsters, mythology. That might be nice for students who, like right now, my daughter's in 7th grade, and I know they're learning about Julius Caesar and the Roman times, so maybe mythology might sneak into there. Students learning Spanish, or maybe their language is Spanish. They can enjoy updated twists on classic fairy tales, and that's in Spanish. So that's pictured here at the top right of our screen. A lot in there for iWonder. Book Nook updates. Wow. Now, this only affects one person, so I'll make this quick. The book trailers that if you made and had posted, if they were using any 856 tags, those are going to be removed if they don't get updated. Again, I only have to talk to one district about one book for Book Nook updates. But in case you're used to using those and you wonder where they went, that's the reason why they didn't get updated and they were removed. INFOhio will remove them on October 1st. So that's just a second screen here talking and showing you how there is a Book Nook example. We have because of Winn-Dixie listed here, and a link to the deleted book trailer no longer appears. In the area of PD and support, we're going to have a lot here to talk about. And if you didn't already know, INFOhio provides professional development through webinars, and they have their learning courses that you can go through on your own, and you can earn certificates. But to support you, what's really important is that you know the presentation includes links to each one of these flyers. So their Teach and Learn flyers are new for the school year, and you can print those out. You can post those places. That way teachers know about them, parents, students. So they do have new flyers out for the school year. In INFOhio campus, now that's where we can go for different modes of learning. We have their learning pathways. Those are asynchronous, so you can learn them at your own pace, and they're online. They're always available at your convenience, and they're available for many of the resources and tools INFOhio offers. If any of those who are in the live session, if you have gone through a learning pathway, let me know about it, or just type it in our chat, and that way we can see who has taken what in the past. And it's okay if you didn't know about them, then maybe we can be sure you get to have the awareness and share those with teachers too. Because it's certainly hard for you to tell a teacher everything about what is here at INFOhio. I can't even do that. And I'm somebody who is more frequently visiting the INFOhio resources. So they have also Learn with INFOhio, and that is their current and previous webinar recordings. And you can get contact hours after taking a pathway or watching one of these recorded videos from their webinars. So you want to know about these, they have this here. Just, hey, you want to know about their PD when it's available, you can sign up. And another topic to learn about would be developing digital detectives. So it's a book study, and there's a link in the speaker notes for you to find out a lot more about that. So that's a separate course. There's the literary criticism ebook class, and that one is about literary criticism ebooks. Now, these are no cost to INFOhio schools, and it's again funded by Future Forward Ohio. But it's a collection of easy to use database from InfoBase, and then learn how to use these ebooks to help your students better understand more than 1,100 literary classic titles. And then there's a support of more than 100 Bloom's guides. So get that shared out to your language arts teachers up at the high school level. That way they know about the ebooks, and then students can have unlimited simultaneous access to the classic titles. Because I know that's something you might not stock on your shelves because it doesn't circulate a lot. But if they're learning and talking about it in a language arts class altogether, they all can access the ebook live, simultaneous at no cost. So just know about those. And if you do take that course yourself or someone else, then you can get 2 contact hours for that. But 2 classes have been retired. The Reading on the Screen class, that went away September 1st, as well as Literature Online class. These 2 are no longer in the course library. Now, if you do take these and a certificate is generated, they are only going back for 5 years, which makes total sense. That's how a teacher certificate is renewed. It's a 5-year cycle. So starting October 1st, anything that is older than 5 years is going to be removed from their files. And I'm betting you have a lot of teachers out there who don't even know that this is a professional development option. So accessing, engaging, and diverse. So meeting the learning needs of all students can be done with one search in Educator Tools. And I said we'd be talking about Educator Tools more, and you'll find resources through there to support student learning. We got ebooks in there, videos, it's all purchased by INFOhio, or even items that are outside of the INFOhio resources. So you'll find tools to meet student needs, explore ebooks and videos, maybe they'll, to determine that features that support learning. And then that's where you can also discover the choice boards as well. And we'll dive into those choice boards today. They have a blog as well. So maybe AI is on your radar and you're like, yes, I want to know more. Well, INFOhio actually has 2 blogs about AI. One focuses on Ohio's AI Education Coalition, the AI strategy, and other focuses on how you can use AI to become more proficient in your library. So one about being proficient, one about the state strategy. Now, there are 5 guiding principles for Ohio's AI education strategy, but that's something, if you're interested in that, sign up, look at the blog, and the link is in the presenter notes as well for you to do that. Now, I don't know if anybody here is an iCoach. If you are, put that in our chat. And if you're not aware of it, anybody can apply. But now is September, so this is the time to apply. It is the INFOhio Integration Coach Program. So it's the idea that you know about these resources and you're just learning how to integrate them more. Again, you have a reading coach, you have a curriculum person. Those are the people who, and yourself, may want to check this out. So if you're learning, just interested in learning how to integrate INFOhio's digital content and their web tools into instruction, and then you want to share it with others, then definitely go for this. So you're not only benefiting yourself with knowledge, but you grow your professional network because they have a community of trainers around the state. It's your own training toolkit. So you're learning things that support the Ohio learning standards. And then you get to share the power of INFOhio with educators, parents, and students. It looks great on a resume in case that's something else, or if your administration's looking at how you continue to stay sharp, this would be one way. So it's open on a rolling basis, and the new application is available in September, which is right now. You can apply year round. And in the notes is a link to take you straight to the Learning Campus and the iCoach area. This would count for 14 to 18 contact hours. So it's not like a little 2-3 hour thing like digital detectives. It's a big chunk of time, but you would definitely be much more versed in the web resources. Updates continue, the recent blog post. So I did talk about the AI blog, but INFOhio's blog has a new library year blog post. I'm going to pop out to this one. And this was written early August. And the reason I'm bringing this one up is I had a few folks say, hey, I'm still seeing old students that are no longer in my building. Cindy's usually a good one on that. I didn't hear from her this year, but she usually catches me. And I'm going to move that up earlier in the summer because I did get several folks asking, like, why do I still see these kids? But over the summer, I have work that I do. and I have to remove those expired patrons. It's just a script that I run. It's nothing dire, but I try to wait as late as possible. So I'm catching kids who have also moved away last minute. But I noticed just it kind of aggravated too many people. So I'm going to be sure I do it early August. Now, there are still those that have outstanding transactions that won't be removed. It could mean maybe they have an unpaid bill, maybe they have a lost item, or they have an overdue item. Those kids are still going to linger in the system. So this is a good time of year. Like you could run a list users report, but instead of just having active kids, mark it for inactive. That's going to highlight and point out those that are still out, lost, missing. Um, because the item will never be able, like, let's say it was, sorry, I shouldn't have said missing, but lost or overdue. And it's going to always be overdue forever, and you won't be able to remove it until you resolve it. So first start with the user, get the user unattached. You know, maybe you say forgive fine, maybe you say returned, and then you're just going to mark it discard or missing. But run yourself an overdues list. And again, these are going to be things possibly from last year. And use that notices report or active loan. Probably your active loans report, you know, and you could set certain dates, active from, you know, anything before August 1st. And that way you're going to catch just those kids. So these are a few reports to consider. Other things they're saying in this blog post, you know, review your checkout policies, or maybe clean up your catalog, do a quick shelf list report. Maybe you just simply ran out of time. So you don't know if you finished cataloging and now you have some missing call numbers, those XX call numbers. Maybe they need removed because you never finished cataloging or did it again later, but you have a duplicate. So that is something to consider. I always want to hear from you guys when you have a pile of discards. You did global item modify and you're like, yep, those are out. But did you ever say something? Did you put a ticket in? And that's important for us to know. So we'll remove those in a large mass. You don't have to do those onesie twosies. So that's a like highlight, like a quick run through of that blog post. I already talked about iCoach. There's the literacy hub, and they have this empower students to make informed information choices. Whew, another mouthful, but this is going into research. Another blog post just later in August, and I'm skimming through it really quick because you might not be familiar really with the research process. You know, what is it? What are the steps? And you have kids coming to your library who their classroom teachers assign them a research project. So they have research skills for grades K-5, and that'll take you here to this research skills resource. And actually this link, I can choose, you know, which one do I want to go to? You know, how do I search online? Exploring search results, etc. This is what I really liked here was how to do research. And this is a whole, I need to click view resource. This is a whole document from, we have the Rockefeller Archive Center. So it's a whole unit and it breaks it into lessons. So maybe you have a new classroom teacher, send them this link, tell them, hey, you know, when you get to your research project, let me know. And this is something to help guide that teacher. So excellent resources. Just want to highlight a few of those for you. And then maybe you have higher level kiddos. I thought I was going to see the, I'm going to zoom out a little, the middle school research. Oh, I needed to keep going after all. Sorry for all the scrolling. Yeah, I'm just missing. But this is where you can, oh, this is the last thing I wanted to talk about on this article. But research was up above, and then you're probably thinking, great, I don't have a whole cart, or the kids don't always come with their Chromebooks to my library. But what you can do is make up a display, and you can highlight a digital resource with one of your books that are in your library. So if you're coming, wanting to say, how do I get people started thinking about these resources? You can do pairing. And so pair one of those, talking about creating a display here. And so they have an example pairing your book with your library with an ebook or a video. And so then they have these collections and broken into these age and grade bands for you. So, or even pulling in a choice board, who I keep saying we're getting to those. They're coming up. They're mentioned a lot. INFOhio has been building a lot of those. So just ideas for how you kind of pull in these electronic things into your print library. So I'm going to leave that, come back to our presentation. Oops, got wild on this mouse again. And then fall ideas. This is how I knew today was Constitution Day. So check out that last link on that slide for their blog. And that way you'll know about September 19th. Can't wait, right? If you're wondering why all the kids are running around talking like pirates, this is why. Hispanic Heritage Month, which has already started, Indigenous Peoples Day. And what they're doing is really nice here. Not only are they telling you, hey, what's on the calendar, they're giving you a resource to take you there and to feature. So that goes on. That was the bottom link here, seasonal strategies. Now, how do you even find out about these things? This is it. They have social media. I would say just if you haven't already subscribed to the newsletter, so that comes right into your inbox, because even though I have social media, I don't always get out there and look at. And then they do have an open space. It's an INFOhio community that you can check out too, but just you want to get their PD newsletter. I mentioned that a little earlier. So if you just click that from our presentation, here we go, newsletter, subscribe now. Pretty easy. So you can check that out. I'm going to back up. I'm already subscribed. And that will bring us to OhioNet's new list of discounts. I don't know if anyone here takes advantage of those. If you weren't aware, you can get discounts. We are considered a member because we fall under the INFOhio membership. So that's what it says here. You're already a member. And you will be able to save money on probably things you're already buying. But what you need to know is, where to buy them from. So they're free or discounted. There's PD sometimes. I haven't seen any free ones for a long time, but definitely discounted. And then this, if somebody has a phone, they can scan, or really the link just takes you to ohionet.org. And I'll show you, you do have to have an account, even though it's free. Oh, and I already logged in earlier today, so it still detected me. Where you would go for the list of discounted items. One, I cheated. I already pulled the PDF and I saved it to Google Drive. So you could go into the speaker notes of the presentation, or if you're really needing to make your purchases, you'll have to have this account anyhow down the road. Services, equipment and supplies, and then over here it says member access, get discounts. So here we are, and it's telling you, all right, this is the dashboard. What are we here for discounts of? Well, I want the annual library products. So every year, this is the list. It's a 6-page, and it's alphabetized. So if you need to know, all right, do they have an agreement with Demco? Well, first is this Alibris and tells you what you get. You got Broad Art, Demco. Sure as much, they've got a Demco discount. So what it's saying here about the amount, you would probably, I don't know if any of you are ordering $2,000 worth of goodies, but if you are, they have a number for you to get a quote. And then they have contract levels. So OhioNet members, they're eligible at different contract levels. I don't have the nitty gritty details on these, but they would let you know about introductory, level 1, level 2, level 3, and so forth. And that tells you the date. So you could definitely talk to them, say, hey, I'm a member with OhioNet through INFOhio, and they would tell you what discount level you're gonna get. So it keeps going. There's Gaylord, Janway, down the list. So make sure you check those out. Again, in the presentation, I went ahead and made that link a little more accessible for you in the speaker notes. That concludes our updates, which was huge. Lot of new things, lots of topics to note, and we're going to move on. Next up is circulation counts. Did everybody have a chance to read their email and who was signed up for today's training? All right. Oh, and yeah, Erin just reopened, so she didn't have circulation counts for last year. Margaret, I sent those to you. Did you get those okay? If you want to check your email, and Cindy, the same for you.
I'll check it. Yep.
Okay. Just take a moment. We're not going to spend a long time here. Every year, that's part of my end of year summer work, I reset the circulation counts. And I do this, it's just part of the list of things I have to do, but there's good reason behind it. If you choose to use your numbers with your administration to tell them how many books and in what areas, then you're able to provide them with that information. So, and sometimes folks are asked, but even if you're not asked, it's really good for you to share. Also, you could run monthly circulation counts, and that way you would have, all right, September, these are how many books were circulated, and you can challenge grade levels. You can search by grade, all different ways to run these reports, but I just do one big annual one. All right, so Cindy did see her counts come through in an earlier email. Thank you, Cindy. Well, I just thought for fun, I wanted to see how the numbers are. Now, because I serve 2 areas, so TCCSA, you guys are up first. NOECA, you'll be next. But I wanted to just take raw numbers. So don't feel like, and there's no names here at all, but I am just taking each library and their raw number. So it doesn't tell you how big their collection is. It doesn't tell you how many patrons they have, none of that. I just was curious, like how many. So we had 3 districts who circulated up to 100 or 500, up to 1,000. We had 4 districts. This bell curve goes up dramatically, and we see 17 of our districts had up to 5,000 circulation, and the next was 10,000. We had 13 districts. Sorry, I shouldn't say districts, 13 libraries, and up to 20,000, we had 8, and there was just one that had more than 20,000 items. And I am going to call out that building. It is an East Holmes local schools, and Amanda is doing a knock-up job with Berlin Elementary. So I'm going to show NOECA's numbers. Again, raw numbers. Doesn't matter if you're a K-12 library, elementary, or high. It's just pretty similar curve. For up to 500, we had 4 libraries. Up to 1,000, we had 9, and that was tied with 5,000, another 9 libraries. But the bell curve went high in 17 for our NOACA districts who've had up to 10,000 items circulated. Now, this is in one school year. But then the bell curve goes down again. We have 8 up to that 20,000. And again, just one who has more than 20,000 items. So I'm going to call out that one just to congratulate Megan and Labriska at Sandusky Intermediate for having over 20,000 items circulated. So just again, fun to play with the numbers. And when you get your numbers, consider sharing those with your administration. And before I leave this topic, I want to ask those who are in our group if anybody does anything with circulation counts, whether it's the annual one that I send or if it's something you do. Like I said, the idea is like maybe monthly or to have a grade level contest to get one grade to circulate more than another. Anybody do anything? All right. Well, if you even have an idea that comes to mind, feel free to throw that in the chat, like maybe saying, hey, I have these numbers now. This is what I'm going to do. That's up to you. But that ends our review of your end of year, basically your 24-25 circulation counts. Now I'll stop because I've covered a lot here. Is there anything anyone has, like a burning question or idea? There's a lot of passivity. You guys are sitting and listening a lot. I want to be sure you feel included and I get information from you if you have something to share. Erin's like, no, she's good. Okay, thumbs up. And Margaret too. All right. Well, it's good to see your faces. I'm sorry that mine's muted only because, like I said, my recording would chop off half my head when I screen share. So that's not a very good recording. All right. And Cindy, you look peaceful there still in the now it looks like you're in a hut, like in a nice shaded shelter. Moving on. This is what we're featuring, and these are the web resources. There is a webinar recording out there that INFOhio provides. It's for the new users for you to go through. If you missed a new training for users or just feel that, hey, I feel new still, even if you're a year or two in, we're going to talk about the ebook collection, choice boards, finally, and information literacy. So let's go. Now, this webinar. It actually can be found in their archives. And did I make a link? I bet I don't have a link there. Sorry about that. Let me back up. I thought I did. It must be in the speaker notes. I'll have to jump there. Apologies. There he is. Okay. So it is a recording that you can watch. You can earn a certificate for watching this. I had started going through it myself, but this was just from this past spring. It's not that old of a recording. So if you're just wanting to know how to use Educator Tools, how to explore the ebooks and videos, or how to discover choice boards, this is what you can watch. We're kind of going to go over lightly what's in that recording, but this is one resource for new users, or if you know of a new library staff and you want to be sure that they know these things, share that link with them out of the speaker notes. So that is one resource. And they also have built this massive presentation. I took a good chunk of slides from it. If you'll see there at the bottom right, there is a bit.ly link that'll let you get to it yourself. You can decide to take slides chunk it. Maybe you want to email it to teachers, or if you get a chance to talk at a staff meeting. But the idea for today is building readers and researchers. And that's why in that other blog post, I was talking about, hey, this is new, a new blog post about how to do research. And they focused their back to school presentation here on research. So I'm looking here at the front page, right? This is our welcome page. We already talked in what's new of this meeting today about INFOhio providing high quality vetted content. And we know when we go to the INFOhio homepage, they have grade level buttons, and we know about the educator button there too for us. And we find the right source, really at every learning stage. So it's a great collection. And when you start getting in there, you find out there are thousands of quality ebooks and videos. And what are we going to do? We're going to pair it with the curriculum they already have. So this is to help educators get more mileage out of their curriculum, or maybe help learners who are struggling. So we can increase their vocabulary, maybe build some background knowledge. If, for example, I threw out Julius Caesar there, maybe if you know that's what they're doing in 7th grade in social studies class, you can pull up some Julius Caesar videos, ebooks out of the collection. You can also, differentiate with instruction. A lot of the ebooks have a lot of assisted aids in them, like Read to Me. And so that would benefit students who struggle with reading. So, and kids get choice then. You could say we have a book on this topic, and here's the partner that there's an ebook as well with it. So they are standards aligned ebooks too. That's what's really important to know. So researching. Now, every student, we have topics like how do students use ebooks? How do I use choice boards? How do I help students learning? And we're going to kind of, and they're learning the information literacy skills. So as we go through this, how do they use an ebook for research? Well, now libraries, research, right? They go together. And INFOhio is a go-to for digital resources, especially when inquiry and research are the task, because we have digital encyclopedias, we have databases like EBSCO, we have almanacs, and the good thing is they're quality, they're vetted, and the resources are needed to support student research. So in the past 5 years, INFOhio has also purchased and licensed ebooks for students. So let's take a look. Remember earlier, there was a blog post in the what's new updates about what are the steps in the research process? Do any of you know those steps? Because, it might not be something familiar to you, but now you have kids walking into your library and they're like, I need to find something for my research project. And you're like, okay, great. Well, what's the process? So at first we have to come up with the topic. And that's where that one I pulled up earlier, I think I closed it. We were talking about research, how to do research. Here's a unit on that, or maybe a middle school choice board. So we could use a choice board here. That they walk in and you're like, I don't really know the research process. Well, how about this? Hey kids, we have a choice board. How do you collect your thoughts? Do you need to have a primary source? And we have primary source documents and audio and artifacts. How about just presenting now to the point of how are they going to present what they know and share that information? So when we're talking about research, then we have those resources to back us up. And skills, and then resources, right? We're going to talk about some skills, and we know INFOhio is going to provide those resources for us. Oh, and so This is hilarious. I don't know, do any of you, have you been around this long to have seen this page that's up there now? Because see, for more than 25 years, INFOhio's been out there. And in 1999, I started in education in 1998. I myself, I've seen this. I don't really remember and partner it in my memory with INFOhio, but what they're showing here are the ITCs that existed back then in 1999. So here's TCCSA, here's NOECA. I'm actually like in the crack between you guys. That's where I live. And this is just what INFOhio's website was in 1999. So it's pretty simple. Uh, let's see here. This is how it looked by 2009. And I remember a gal coming to the TCCSA office and saying, what do you guys think of the homepage? And one of my school districts who was at the meeting said, it's like drinking from a fire hose. Like, look at all the buttons and there's just too much. And he was pretty blunt with her, but I'm like, he's right. That was just too much. You have buttons up here in the blue, you have button or links in the black. Now you have these buttons. It was just a lot. And I do remember seeing this page. And this was pretty recent. This was from 2015. So now iSearch came out. I remember that being promoted a lot at conferences I attended. So despite the change in the look over the years, what's constant? They're dedicated. They're dedicated to school libraries and to student research and inquiry. And we know, the larger grade band buttons now. So these are the digital resources, just a taste of them. And they're going to represent basic requirements for student research in grades K to 12. We talked about I Wonder in the updates. Pebble Go Next has that new animals area. And what else? Don't think, I mean, we touched on a few of these, but I didn't go in depth. Some of them just took away some links in our updates. So, before the days of digital, teachers would ask students what they'd walk into your library, they'd go pick up the World Book Encyclopedia. And are any of you brave enough to admit if you have one of those sets still in your library? Erin's not brave enough, or she doesn't have one. Okay, she doesn't have one. All right. Cindy, do you got a set of those still in your library? The World Book Encyclopedia. Oh, she does. She's shaking her head. And so does Margaret. I'm curious, do kids pick them up still, or are they kind of there for nostalgia? Okay, Cindy's shaking her head. No, they're not picking those up. But that,
My kids do, but I
yeah,
have a fourth grade teacher who um, does just a small like little lesson about basically how things were back in the day, um, about how we had to do research without the internet. And one of the things he talks about is the encyclopedia. So that I have them in a section. It's kind of off to the side, but they're there. And so once he does that, then they're interested in it, and then they go and look. I mean, it's just so funny that how they view it as opposed when I was a kid and had to use it for various things. So
got it. Okay.
I don't know if I'll ever get rid of it. Just I don't know. I
Well, no reason to. If you have a teacher supporting it, go for
Right,
it. Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I like that spin on it, like back in the day. That's a good way to keep it. All right. And so Cindy does use them for a map, nothing much more. So they're more decorative. Okay. Well then, moving forward, because those encyclopedias are still accessible, they're just digital now. And so are the almanacs. You probably don't have magazines in your library. Few of you have magazines, but lots of magazines are available. So they can find it all through INFOhio. It's just knowing that and not assuming Google search is the place they should always start. And what's really cool is then they'll pair any reference material with your school library. So whenever they're doing an iSearch, they'll find, all right, here's a topic that's in Explorer, but oh, look, we have a book on that too. So that's the cool thing with using iSearch. So a little more on iSearch here. So it's really INFOhio's research tool that allows your kiddos to search both, like I said, your library and select content from the digital. So here, my library pops up first in this example, and you'll see they had 57 results on their search of the word Australia. So there's the book, and they kind of zoomed in, or highlighted a few more down here. But then there would also be encyclopedias listed. And here's a nice thing to point out if you are teaching STEAM, which a lot of our libraries, like Margaret, are doing. So there's a STEAM tab for you too. So even if your kiddos can't get to your library, maybe because you aren't part of rotation or they come down electively and they have actual access still to the ebooks. So that's something worth noting. Now, to ensure readers, researchers, those guys find the titles most appropriate, INFOhio has created and curated a grade level collection of ebooks. So ebooks is one of those highlights for today. Now, how do you find the collections? You're going to choose your grade band button. And if you want to do this in another browser window and just listen along, pick 3 to 5 or pick 6 to 8 or 9 to 12. Pick one of the three. And then you're going to go ahead and when you find it, depends on the grade band you're in, this will be green, this muted purple, or it'll be orange. But the label will read grades for your band, INFOhio ebooks and videos. So look for that. I was kind of caught off guard, when it's a different color. I was hoping, okay, they're all purple, and they're not. Depends on the level you're in. And if you think about it, it's going to match. It should match. Maybe it's more of a red. So the K to 5, theirs is a purple. The 6 to 8 is of a greenish color. And then it was a warm color. Maybe not red, but maybe it was orange for the 9 to 12. So that's when you click on the I button, then that's going to give you as such as this. When you click on the I, you can get the direct link. So this is what you can share to teachers to say, hey, shoo, put this into your Google Classroom. Or if you have one of your own, then you would want to give them this link because you've just taken away a few clicks for them and you didn't have to write out a long email. You can just say, hey, check out these ebooks. Bang, they're right there. There is an open button then on the left. And also, let's see here. Here is more. So if I have gone in to that grades 5, K5 grade band into that collection, then I can start searching. Because wow, look at that. There's almost 5,000 results. That's a lot there. But those are all considered ebooks and videos. So INFOhio's kind of curated this collection for you. They're in alphabetical order, so I just want to let you guys know that. The students can search by a keyword and then to work with their research. They can determine the material type using the icon in the upper left corner. So we have here, they can search for grades that are lower there than theirs. So right there, if I wanted ages 3 to 5, I can go lower. And that way I maybe get simpler reading. So that allows them to access the materials that are right level for their age. Now, that would be more appropriate at the middle school level than, say, at elementary. So this icon here we have for filtering here at the top left, that will let us choose these limiters that pop up on the left. So I can limit to just the ebooks. So on the left, I have ebook and video, so I can just get books. I can pick my language. So if you have Spanish speaking students, maybe they just want books that are Spanish written. And then, oops, sorry about that. Then the content area as well. So those are ways to use the ebook and video collection. So here's the 6 to 8 collection. It's a screenshot of it. So again, the middle school students can include ebooks from the lower grade collections. So now they can check K to 5 if they wanted. They have the same filter. This one is using ebook only, and they wanted current events for their search to narrow it down. So if they're doing research, you can send them to these ebooks right away. And especially if you know, okay, what I have in my library on current events is going to be dated, then you have a really reliable place to send them to. Okay. Here we are looking at one of these ebooks. So just like a print book, they're going to have table of contents, they're going to have an index, they're going to have a glossary. So they really are real books, and you're going to use those features then to help them find the information they need within the book, rather than trying to just flip through hundreds of pages if they're large books. But you also have the ability just to help them find the information they need, guide them through how to turn the pages, click the hyperlinks, and you can turn read aloud on or off. So here's one where we see this page timeline. We have resources in here that would help them with citation. So little citation quotes up there. We have a link at the top right if they need to add this into their resources or come back to it later. So they're going to have a permanent link that'll take them straight to this book once they've found it. They don't have to go through that searching all over again. And then you have autoplay, or here we have the play button. Do many of you, I'll just stop there. Do many of you take advantage of the ebook features? Like, I don't know if you use them yourself to read. Maybe that's an ebook you would read before when they sit down at your carpet, or to start a library time. No? Okay. At least for those who are here in the group. All right. And this is an info-based ebook, so it's definitely for higher levels. It has built-in tools, so you'll be able to collect information, locate it for later use. So you see your ability to share it, your embed link. You can also add it to places like Google, and they have permanent links that'll get you back to the book, your citations. And now this, if you were going to add this, say, to your Google account, I had a district concerned about Senate Bill 29. And there are other ways. You wouldn't have to always add it to Google, or you just get the permanent link and then put that in, say, a Google Doc. That way they aren't accessing and saying, all right, INFOhio, we're giving you access to save this resource into my Google Drive. But what INFOhio did come back and tell me, they are not giving out personal identifiable information, and it's not part of their education record. And I think that's what might scare people. Is like, oh no, everything is PII. It's their name, it's their picture. But what that Senate Bill 29 is about is if it's part of their education record. And for them using a resource like this, that is not the case. So if you have any concerns about that, I thought I'd just plug that in there, that it's safe to use these resources. Here then is just highlighting that citation button across the top. And then, it's a great place. Here we have MLA and Chicago and Harvard, but it's a place for them to start building their works cited for the project that they're researching for. ProQuest, this is their ebooks. Those are going to include a research assistant, and it's powered by AI. And students can use that to get a chapter summary or key takeaways from the book. So one important skill in research is paraphrasing and summarizing content. So that would be a tool that they could possibly use here. This research assistant on the side is going to help them, and they need to fact check always, these AI tools. So it's giving them some practice with that. Now, if I was going to kind of play along and go through this with a child, I can pop out to INFOhio's ebooks and do a scenario. So here's going to be an elementary scenario for you guys. So I'll just head out to my INFOhio site, and I'm going to go through the elementary group, and I'm looking for that purple button. There he is. So ebooks, here I am, and I'm a student named Maya. I'm in second grade. I'm going to do a science research project on animals and how they impact their environment. So she comes to you and she says, I need some help. And she types animals. And okay, 708 results. That's a bit much for a second grader, wouldn't you say? So here's what you could do. You could ask her, do you have a favorite animal? Is there an animal you've seen at the zoo? And they do a second grade, last I remember, a second grade animals project. So this is really a subject relatable. So, she says, fine, I like lions. And that's her search. So it's a little better, 56, not so bad. But if she wants to really do a better job, that little filter icon that I pointed out, that's now where, all right, let's limit it down to just ebooks. What else could we do there? Lions. I only want these in English because I don't read Spanish. We're down to 46. And then here is really going to be the area. Am I going to look for lions in science? In social studies, I might need to think about this and I might have to come back and change this, but I must think about animals as being kind of a science topic. And now I'm down to 21. So that's much better than me just Googling out there the word lions, because I'm not going to get things for my reading level and I will struggle. And I'm not saying that, Google searching is a bad thing. I'm just saying we can get them there faster for a specific research project. So we are here. Let's see if I see the same one in their example. But lots of fun ones. I mean, I start looking at these and I get sidetracked really fast. But I'm going to pick, I want to be a lion. And I just wanted to have a live book to point out to you guys, the page flipping features. This one is young enough. It did not have an index, table of contents. So I should probably have, this pops open. What's important to know, it's in a separate tab. So I want you to realize, there was no browser back button. I will warn you guys, if you click home, it's going to take you back to choose one of these. So I had pulled that tab separate so you could see I really just needed to close the tab of that book and then come here to back to ebooks. So maybe I didn't get the exact same search for them, but this will maybe be a little bit more appropriate. Lions built for the hunt. And now I have a book with a table of contents because I'm looking at a nonfiction. So we have features that let us look at words in bold. And when I click on that, you can show the kids how that takes them to their glossary. And they can also click the word and then that word will be found back inside the book. So just fun features. This one has the play feature as well. And then I could save it. I have this little link up here and I can copy the link. So I can come back to this book. Maybe I throw that into the speaker notes on my PowerPoint or my Google Slides presentation. And if I'm a teacher, then I have Educator Tools as well. So, maybe even you can use one of these books with the autoplay feature in the wintertime when you might pick up a cold and your voice isn't as strong as it used to be. So Some of these also include some features such as, and this is just going through the slides, I demonstrate it live. They sometimes have graphic organizers too. So you can find this particular one down inside our speaker notes of today's presentation to go to that graphic organizer if you are helping kiddos with animals. We have another scenario we'll walk through because I know we have multiple levels here. We have middle school. So this is a kiddo named Jordan. He's in 7th grade. And but for Jordan, he has a reading disability. He's on an IEP. And his assignment is to write an argumentative essay on whether the American Revolution was justified. Okay, so now he comes to school, to you, looking for help for his research. So if you want to kind of multitask and just listen along, you can head out then to that grade 6 to 8 ebook band. And so I need to back up in one of my tabs, go to the 6 to 8 grade band, look for the ebooks. And remember I said they're going to be green like the color for the 6 to 8 grade band. I click on it and need to search. So he's searching for American Revolution. You can search for that as well. But before he does his search, remember he's on an IEP. So maybe I should have him check here to get books of a lower reading level included in his search. So that would help him out. So I've done that. I have 22 results now. And then we can go through, what is it in his research he's wanting to argue? What, was it because the revolution, was it justified or not? What kind of information does he need? Historical facts. So you could ask those questions of him. So here he chooses the book, Secrets of the American Revolution. Do we have that in our results? We should. There you are. Secrets. Does that one appeal to him? So he does have the read aloud feature. So if he wanted to, he could go through that. There is an autoplay button. And then he also has the glossary. So, be sure to show them that. You can jump to the end very quickly. We have our index and we have our glossary. And that way, any word that he comes across that he doesn't know, then he can be sure to learn it and the context around it. So I'm not going to do our 3rd level. I think you guys have the gist of this, how to use the ebook collection, how you would find it, and some of the features of them. So again, this is just the screenshots of that. So that would have been a high school example. We'll jump ahead. And this is all on the slides though, in case you're wanting to see how those go. But how about those who are here? I know Cindy had to drop out, but Aaron and Margaret, now that you've seen these ebooks a little bit, is this something of interest to you? Do you think you could benefit? Okay, they're both nodding their heads. All right. I don't know if kids come into your library with computers, with Chromebooks much. Okay, they do it in Margaret's case. All right, well, the call to action was just more of a longer presentation where we have more time. But that's something else you can consider. Again, this is all yours to take and decide if you ever get a chance to present, or you could just take that little short piece about an elementary example and send that out in a separate Google's presentation to the elementary staff. You can share it out, and that way they'd know about the ebooks without you even having to go through it all during, say, a staff meeting. So the Educator Tools, we know now how to find those, and there's stuff in there too to help educators. So again, we're not going to go through this activity, but that's how that was designed. I believe we'll get through the choice boards, and we will probably save some of this presentation for another meeting, but the choice boards are definitely lots of fun. So I want to be sure to get to them with you. So when we think about uh, the importance of using digital text, we can offer students print books, of course, from our library, but then we can share them these ebooks. And then that's what the choice boards are highlighting, basically. So students do have to be able to read in multiple formats in our modern world, and that helps create critical thinkers. They're able to comprehend, they can analyze, they can evaluate all the content that's digital. So we need to be intentional in preparing them for their 21st century learning. So that'll include reading content on the screen from sources, well, like blogs and social media, databases, and more. So students are already reading on the screen for what? Video games and in their apps on their personal, their school devices, their phones. And so reading ebooks will help reinforce, further develop good reading habits, not just for video games and texts. So it's always good to share some of these additional features that ebooks have that we can't get with print books. So check out that little speaker icon whenever you find it. We're going to find it in a lot of places. Also point out to those who are using that they're simultaneous. There's not a limited license. So an entire class of 30 kids could all be reading an ebook at one time. That's another benefit. So this is an example of an ebook from World Book. You see the logo there at the top. So you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can do single page view, thumbnail view. So you can easily skip to different pages of the text. I know myself, whenever I have a document printed, PDF, 3-ring binder, the whole enchilada, the first thing I'm trying to do is find something. Now, yeah, I remember my skills of going through the index or the table of contents, but sometimes I just want to search for one word that wouldn't be found in an index because it's a common word. And I can't do that when it's printed. And so sometimes I myself like the benefits of just hitting Control F on my keyboard and find one word so much faster through a digital document, whether it's an ebook or a PDF. So I feel the benefits myself of an electronic book. Um, these are just little comments from libraries around Ohio, just how you would expand your collection with those INFOhio ebooks. So we only have so much money. And if you even have a budget, or maybe you're only buying through your Scholastic Book Fair. So we know we can expand what we have electronically for free. So these are from iCoaches around the state. So it was really nice for them to contribute. And you probably won't have time to read them all right here, but they're in the presentation that you can browse through later. So this was one I shared with my daughter's 4-H group this summer, actually, about, well, the spring, about dogs. And so they've been curating at INFOhio these choice boards. Obviously, my daughter's she has a dog project in 4-H. So we have a little Shih Tzu there. So that was a fun read for us. And these choice boards are definitely an easy way to engage your kiddos by giving them a choice as to what they want to read. So you could have those up, you could have a link, you can share these choice boards with their classroom teachers. That way, when maybe they have spare time, this is something that they do with independent reading. And they're really good. They're for good tools for instruction. They're going to give background knowledge and vocabulary on a topic. So we are going to be able to find them through the Educator Tools. Here is one that would fit well for, I know, 6th, 7th grade social studies, learning about Egypt. And yep, 6th grade, it's their actual content statement 2 for early civilizations. So that is actually documented in our speaker notes about what it covers standard wise. And so finally got there. Educator Tools. Whew. So what is this place? Where do you find it? It's where you're going to get your choice boards from, and it's a repository of instructional materials purchased, licensed, or developed by INFOhio. So these resources support the learning standards. So again, new teacher, they need to know about this place. And this tool is searchable by content area, grade level, instructional practice. You'll find items for using videos, your ebooks. Additional filters will help you make the tool, the best for searching. So there's more than 10,000 items in here, which is quite a bit. And I'll just jump out to it right now. So I had a link from the speaker notes, but if you are going from the INFOhio website, you're going to find this in our educators. You're going to find it when you scroll to the very bottom, and you're going to find this right column, Educator Tools. So a few ways to get there. And now that we're looking at it, what are we going to do here? So choice boards, if you have a tab open and you want to multitask, try and do that search. And here we go. There is a total of, whoa, they have up to 136 now. That maybe some of these are not a choice board, but wow, they are really building a lot for you guys to take advantage of. And they'll just keep growing as you keep scrolling down. I think they call that a lazy scroll. So you can limit then on the left. Maybe you just want a grade level. And whenever you do select one that you like, so all about Ohio, that'd be great for my third graders, possibly fourth grade. And then I have this little I button. I click that, and then this is how I would share it out. Again, remember I mentioned share these resources with educators in your building, and you can give them that direct link so that they didn't have to go to Educator Tools. They didn't have to click choice boards. They didn't have to click Ohio. You can give them the link straight to it. So that's something you can share directly. So how can you use them? Maybe you have a station rotation. That's certainly how an elementary teacher would. Maybe you're going to provide the choice board just for background knowledge. And you could have kids reflect and show what they know. So this was one choice board search. And then we have, maybe our first station at our library is where they go check out books. Because certainly if it's a large group of kids, it's hard to have them all in line at once. You could have a different station with a hands-on activity. So possibly they're over there, they have drawing a picture, a Legos or a makerspace type activity. And then in your third station, maybe that's where they can be on their Chromebook and they can be opening the choice board. So those are three choices if you were going to do a station rotation style. So let me jump through. We already went through these slides. And I gave you these ideas just now for three choices. Now, of course, upper level kiddos, they wouldn't enjoy station rotation as much as elementary, but they also don't need to be managed the same to get through. But here's just a list of those where you can support your background knowledge. So if kids don't totally understand a topic, then maybe they just don't have the knowledge to support it. So you can support those classroom teachers. Get that knowledge, vocabulary, maybe phonological awareness, the fluency. Just using a choice board can help you do that. We always see vowel sounds. We see the About Ohio one I picked. So 136 give you a lot of choices to go through. And then again, another one with a graphic organizer to go with it. And that graphic organizer is in our speaker notes of the presentation. And Let me stop there to ask. Choice boards. What do you think? Like them? Hate them? Anything you want to share?
I love the choice boards. I have it's called a Rough Rider reading challenge. We are the Western Reserve Rough Riders. A Rough Rider reading challenge that I put out for 6 months during the school year, October through March. And um, each month it's a choice board, 25 choices, and it's things like um, go to your local library and read a book while sitting in the library, um, read a recipe and make a recipe, go to INFOhio, read an ebook. It's just different 25 choices. In October, they have to do 15 choices, and with each month it increases. So November it's 16 choices and so on. And if they and the parent or guardian has to initial each one that they do, and then they send it back in at the end of the month. And then I buy an extra, we call them extras in the cafeteria. So like an ice cream bar, sorry about that, an ice cream bar, a bag of chips or something like that. So I get a coupon for an extra. That way, if I did like, here's, gift certificate to go to Dollar General, something like that. Sometimes parents don't take the kids to do that, or, like free, like personal pizza or something like that. This way, the prize is right here in our cafeteria, and they can redeem it right there at the school. But the choice boards, I love that. I also have a choice board on my Google Classroom. So if we have taken up all of our inclement weather days or snow days, and then we have to do learning from home, I have a library support where the kids do, and they seem to like that as well.
So those are choice boards that you actually make yourself.
Those are the choice boards that I control. Yeah, that I make
Yeah.
myself. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
But now
So,
that I see these choice boards, I'm all about those.
well, you can certainly save some time. Uh,
Yes.
but but yours
Yes.
was more of like a, more comprehensive, where this is just these are only one piece of yours,
Yeah.
where you said go to InfoHio. Well, you could say go to the InfoHio, you know,
Go to
Ohio Choice
info.
Board. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Could do
go,
that. Yeah. And the reason why for some of the choices are, go to info.org or go to our local library is to get them out and about. You don't have to be a book that you have at home. There are other ways about it. And then it brings awareness to our parents as far as info.org. But it also, some of these kids that are coming in, or I hear from parents, hey, we went to the library. I haven't been to the library in years. That was great. Just, getting them in there. So
okay. And Aaron, do you have with your rotation of kids coming into their scheduled time, do you how long do you have with them? Like 30 minutes?
So it depends on the week because I share with a guidance counselor. So fourth and fifth grade I have for 50 minutes every other week. And then and third grade. So third, fourth, and fifth, every other week, 50 minutes. And then K to 3, I have we share the 50 minutes, me and the guidance counselor
50
every
minutes
week.
with a third grader. That's a long time.
It is. So it was but they're really good. We do like this would they I wish I knew this last year, wish whatever, because I didn't have a library last year.
Oh,
So
yes.
I did so many like biography things and STEM things with them because I had to go into their classrooms. But we are a one-to-one school, so that would have been really cool. But I don't know, it was a lot. So uh yeah, so it just kind of like right now we're doing I'm introducing them to audiobooks right now, podcasts, because our middle schoolers, like especially like fifth graders is what I'm doing, who I'm doing with our middle schoolers in sports. Like all of us schools are like 45 minutes is the closest school to us that they
Mm.
compete against. So they're on the bus a lot. And so I was trying to get them into that a little bit here at the beginning of the school year. So, but I love these choice boards because some of the books that I have in our library, but like not all of them. So I think it'll be interesting to see like how they see familiar things and then like new things too.
Oh yeah, that's a great thought, is that maybe it'll complete a series, or
Mm-hmm.
you have one copy and it's always checked out, and then somebody else. Cool. That way
Yeah.
you get reach more of your kids. Excellent. And Cindy, you dropped out, but you came back. So I don't know if at the middle school level that um, the choice boards would fit you, or if these would be more resources you would share with the classroom teachers. What are your thoughts on them?
Hang on. I shared it with the teachers. Mrs. Kearns, the sixth grade language arts teacher, was very excited to see them. So I haven't talked to her about them yet, but
Okay,
yeah.
excellent. All right,
Mhm.
good to hear.
Mhm.
And again, we're not going to go through this, and that's if we had more time. And I was tempted, I'm actually going to let the three of you decide. Do you feel like you're at information overload at this point? Or would you like to squeeze in our last 15 minutes about information literacy skills? It's your call entirely.
I actually have to go, so I'm sorry. So
Yeah,
I won't
no,
vote. I won't vote.
she's not voting, but in a way, that's kind of a vote. She'll miss this if because she has to
Right.
go. Got it. And you guys could also just share some of your favorites. That was meant to be part of our time too.
I'm okay either way.
Yeah, me too. I don't have a strong feeling either way.
Okay.
But I
Well, I
don't
will.
do a lot of this with my kids because we have someone that teaches digital literacy. And then when I usually just get materials for the teachers to do the research because they don't want them doing it in the library because they do it in their class.
Aha.
It's kind of a
Well,
sticky situation for me.
sh-
So yeah.
yeah. And this does talk about, what's the difference, digital literacy, information literacy. Um, I'll just leave it here at the end with just that definition, but it is really, we're understanding how information is created, accessed, shared, and valued, and the abilities and the mindset to be able to locate, evaluate, use, and create information. So whenever we're looking at that, they have to do that ethically and effectively. And so that's just broad, that's information literacy, not specifying digital at all. And so I think I will save it because information literacy has digital literacy under its umbrella. But now we have AI literacy, and this is again because we were talking about research here today. So I will stop here and save this for another time, because I would fear that I just probably talked too fast. We've had a lot that we covered today, and certainly this is a lot to digest. And didn't know if you all wanted to share something that it's your go-to, it's your favorite InfoHio resource.
Mine, I think, would be World Book.
You like World Book?
Hmm.
What is it about World Book? Like what it,
It's just
yeah.
that it's there, it's updated, it's readily available.
Well, right. Yeah, if you're thinking about those those older materials,
Yeah.
certainly. that archaic collection. Aaron, you have a favorite out there?
Not really. I've just been I use like the book flicks and that kind of stuff just sometimes when I can't get my hands on something that I need that they will want to like watch more. I like the pairings. Sometimes I just cheat and I use the pairings and then I just get the subject and I don't actually use theirs, but I do cheat and use their pairings. So yeah.
No, that's
I
okay.
don't really, but
That's
yeah.
smart.
It
Nothing wrong with
gets
that.
me going, a little bit. So
Absolutely. I would say my favorite is Pebble Go Next, which really that's where a lot of our ebooks in the capstone, that's where these ebooks are coming out of primarily. If I was to, yeah, because Pebble Go Next, I thought because there we go. I'm just clicking and you guys can't see this, but I'll reshare real fast. And I went to Capstone. When you're at the little home, you can go to the younger levels or the higher levels. And it's here where they have a whole section on graphic novels. So that's something, of course, they're popular, but you gotta, if you're trying to enhance your collection, you might not have these or a lot of graphic organizers. So, oh, sorry, not graphic novels. That's an area maybe your library is weak in. So that's the reason why I like it. But always enjoy these books. And this one's a slightly different, where this is a whole series here, science series. And I also like the autoplay and the playback feature of a lot of those books. So that would be my favorite. Now, David's been hanging out here nice and quiet, and David, don't know if he used much of these INFOhio resources himself as a high school student. He's freshly out of college, but like I said, it's been 25 years that INFOhio's been around. So,
I a lot for like research projects. We would use it a lot to find like academic journals. Um, but I'm not sure how much that's changed at Rittman
okay,
after I've left. But that's what I mainly remember going to InfoHio for.
sure, yep. And they had their whole research for success that they would guide you. It was huge. Something that I would talk about more when we get to the information literacy, but definitely, yeah. And I was mistaken. The ebooks is in red here after all, matching the button that's on the front for the grade band. But iSearch, certainly that's the way to get you guys started.
Yeah, we used iSearch a lot.
Excellent. I myself, when I was in the classroom, now iSearch wasn't the thing, but I was searching my own collection and I would put holds on books. That way, if it was the weekend, I would come in, later Monday or on Tuesday and go to the library and they'd have my items pulled for me. So that was so nice to see what my local library collection had from a distance. And I don't know how many of your staff take advantage of holds. Not everybody has that turned on or even aware that that's a feature. So I'm going to end our afternoon here. And I do appreciate that you all joined me. And like I said, with the recording, that's going to take me some time to get it out. But luckily, there won't be a lot of editing. It's just a matter of getting it posted. So I'm going to end that